Welcome to SW News. As the election results getting closer to the end, now what we are going to see from here on is a very close fight between post are here. It seems like the NDA has hit the majority mark. NDA is leading on 125 seats. Alliance is leading on 111 seats, whereas other parties are leading on 7 seats. If we look at the party-wise breakup of these numbers, then JDU is leading on 45 seats, BJP is leading on 73 seats, VIP on 5 seats, HAM on 3 seats, RJD is leading on 74, the Congress party is leading on 20 and the left parties are leading on 17 seats. Whereas on the other hand, if we look at the other parties, out of the 7 seats where the other parties are leading, AIMIM has bagged almost 5 seats and one has gone to BSP, whereas another one has gone to an independent. LJP of Chirag Paswan has failed to make a mark in this particular election as of now, whatever election results that have come out, and just 50 lakh votes are remaining to be counted. And meanwhile, the RJD is crying foul. RJD is saying that the Nitish administration is creating a lot of hurdles for the RJD party in counting of votes, and the Nitish administration is not giving winner certificate to RJD candidates. There are being recounted and so on and so on. Will go on for another 2 He has joined NDA. If close for
Narendra. All that we need to kind of JDU would have still that so
RJD. All the left parties that were part of the alliance, they
it would have been better. They would have what one spoke about. One use the like in Maharashtra, where the smallest party, I think the same definitely for uh, the
I see the ND less than 100 seats. It has shown also that it was not.
visit there not have there was no Rahul Gandhi effect in Bihar. So that's one. Secondly, the fact that Congress doesn't have a leadership. Congress is lacking a leadership. That is absolutely showing. It showed in Maharashtra. It's showing in Bihar. They might as well wake up and smell the coffee, because if this continues, God knows what's going to happen in the future elections. I'm sure they have no much role to play in West Bengal either. So this is something that Congress needs to understand. Congress needs to figure out. My apologies. So this is something that, like I said, Congress needs to figure out. Secondly, MIM. I need to talk
Yes.
about MIM, was OAC's party.
OAC's party.
See, they, I think, have very successfully ensured that RJD lost a lot of seats, because RJD, the core voters for RJD are the Muslims and the Yadavs. So MIM played a very vital role. Those 5 seats of theirs which they won, and at least another 10 seats which they took away from RJD. I think they did a fabulous job for the Bharatiya Janata Party. So that also should not be forgotten. They did a very fairly decent job. Thirdly, let us talk about this one, Chirag Paswan and his LGP. Chirag Paswan and LGP didn't get much of a seat, but the fact still remains that whatever he lost, whatever seats he took away, he took more seats away from Congress RJD than from
JDU.
JDU and BJP. So there too, he played a fantastic spoil sport. So LJP and MIM put together, they, I think, sealed the fate of RJD plus whatever, Mahagathbandhan. And of course,
Exactly.
the weak link Congress.
Correct. If you look at the overall scenario over here, then we can clearly say that it is these other parties, AIMIM, the RLSP, the third front that was put up by the people, the LJP, these are the parties who took away majority of the votes, and this is the reason why majority of the candidates of RJD and also the Congress have lost in this particular election result. But as far as the trends are concerned, this is what the trends say. AIMIM has also played a major spoil sport for the RJD and Congress party, but 5 seats in Bihar Assembly election, that's a major for a party like AIMIM, which hails from Telangana.
Oh yes, I am very sure. That's a good achievement for them. But more than, like I said, Aarti, more than them getting the numbers, I think what they have done is they have taken away numbers from RJD and Congress. So that's the point I was trying to make. So they have actually, MIM has helped the Bharatiya Janata Party, the NDA predominantly. They were very good help for NDA overall. So that's the point I was trying to make.
But still the contest, do you think it is close? Because at least 17 seats are yet to be counted where the margin of the votes, the difference of the votes is less than 1,000. So this can swing either way. But even if it swings in the favor of the RJD plus the Grand Alliance, they will need at least almost 12 seats to get to the point of magic figure, because now they are leading in 111 seats, and to get to the magic figure they will need at least 12 seats. Do you think that they can pull it off?
See, it'll be a miracle. I'll tell you, it'll be a miracle for the simple reason that morning itself, I had told you, once the direction was fixed, once the numbers were so high, I mean, yeah, the margins could come reduced, but for now the tables to turn, it definitely could be it has to be a miracle. So yeah, I mean, if there is a miracle, then this will happen. Then anything can happen, Aarti. But predominantly, if you ask me, I don't think it's going to be much of it is going to change. I think the way it's looking, like I said in the afternoon, I maintain in the evening that I think NDA is going to form the government, and one has to now discuss whether Nitish will be actually made the chief minister, or there would be somebody from Bharatiya Janata Party who would want to be the chief minister, or something else. So that's something that we can discuss. But this, I think it is sealed unless and until there is a miracle. I'm not saying that it's anything is impossible. Things are possible. It's like a match, but but it has to be there has to be a miracle for that. So the hope of that is minuscule.
Well, the election is actually oscillating between a lot of numbers, because if you see, just half an hour ago, the NDA was leading on 119 seats, and the JDU and the RJD plus, RJD plus the Grand Alliance was leading on 116 seats. And if in that case, it could be on the other parties, the AIMIM, the BSP, and other such parties. Their help will be required to form the government, if at all it goes back to that point once again. But as of now, where the things stand is that NDA has 2 seats lead over the magic figure, because magic figure is in this particular assembly is 122. The NDA is leading on 124 seats, whereas the RJD plus the Grand Alliance is leading on 111 seats, and others have bagged at least 7 seats. So the close fight is now between these two parties. Also, there is a close fight between the RJD and the BJP to be the single largest party in Bihar. And if at all BJP manages to be the single largest party in Bihar, then that will also mark a significant shift in Bihar politics, because that will probably be the first time when the BJP will also play a role of big brother in the NDA alliance in Bihar. They will no longer be at the mercy of Nitish Kumar, if I may say so. And Nitish Kumar will be probably for the first time in the NDA will be the partner who will be called as a younger brother. So will that change dimensions? Will that change some equations in the NDA as well?
Aarti, before we get into that, I just need 1 minute to give another, to just address another topic. See, more than anything else, the first thing that we need to understand about NDA and about BJP right now is, see, Bharatiya Janata Party has proven that India and especially Bihar has accepted and rewarded Narendra Modi's handling of the pandemic. So all the talk about migrant workers, all the talk about lockdown, all the talk about joblessness, all the talk about economy, everything has been kind of, it's the people do not agree to it. And the fact is, somewhere down the line, I think a lot of us, including I think us, needs to understand that India has accepted. So India liked the fact that Bihar has accepted, Thali Bajao, all that. I think all of that has worked in Bihar. Okay, we may be sitting in one corner of the country and saying that, "Arey yaar, ye kya thali kyun baja raha hai and thali kyun bajwa raha hai," and all of that. But Bihar has accepted it. Let us face facts. Okay, the fact remains that there was huge amount of anti-incumbency against Nitish Kumar. Okay, but the fact remains still Bharatiya Janata Party managed to win this election. Bharatiya Janata Party managed to put their chief ministerial candidate in the chair. More or less, it looks 90%, it looks like that. So the fact is that Bharatiya Janata Party and Narendra Modi, today nobody can question him and nobody can say that, oh, he handled it badly, including me. I should also now rethink what the narrative, because somewhere down the line, the people have accepted it. People have accepted it. So all this talk about migrant workers and the suffering that they had is everything. Here it is. Here it is. The single largest party as on now in Bihar. What are we talking about? So that's the first thing. Second thing, Nitish Kumar will be made the chief minister because, like I said, Bharatiya Janata Party has to prove, Aarti, has to prove that they are a party that takes their their partners
seriously.
along with them. You see, they're a party that takes their partners along with them. So that's something that they want to prove, because after the loss of the Shiva Sena in Maharashtra, after the loss of Shiromani Akali Dal in Punjab, and these are parties that were there with them for almost 25 years. After the loss of these partners, they would not want to kind of send a wrong message to the other partners that they have. And even I'm sure Bharatiya Janata Party is also very clear that maybe in 2024, the same anti-incumbency may be on them too. So they would want their partners at that point in time. So the fact is, Nitish will be offered the chief minister's seat, is what I believe. Lastly, of course, the Prime Minister of India and the supreme leader of Bharatiya Janata Party stood there in front of lakhs of people and said that the chief minister will be Nitish Kumar. So just to keep Prime Minister Modi's words also, I think the Prime Minister, the chief minister's chair will be offered to Nitish Kumar. Now, what is going to happen is Nitish Kumar is a very egoistic person. Okay, how well will Nitish Kumar be able to handle that chair? And how well will Nitish Kumar be able to take people along, especially the Bharatiya Janata Party partner along, is going to be a big story. See, he is a younger brother now. In fact, a very young brother who has been made to sit in the chair purely as a favor done by Mr. Narendra Modi and Bharatiya Janata Party. So it is Nitish Kumar doesn't deserve that chair, but he will be made to sit in that chair purely because Bharatiya Janata Party has gifted that chair to them. So Nitish Kumar will have to learn that now that Maryada, that culture of actually being a subservient to the Bharatiya Janata Party, who is a bigger brother. So that's something that one has to see how much of it Nitish Kumar will do, how much of it Nitish Kumar will kind of be able to do. That is something that we'll have to see in the future. Or will Nitish Kumar go ahead and he himself will want to step down as chief minister, because I'm sure he also knows that this is kind of going to be a very difficult trip for him. If he himself wants to step down, then it's a different issue altogether. But that's something that we need to see whether it is going to happen. Rest of it is just atkale, just all of this is just kind of guesstimation. So that's another point, Aarti.
Well, before we move on to the next segment, let me ask you one last question. Who do you think is the man of the match in this particular election? Because what we are seeing right now...
Narendra Modi, no doubt. Narendra Modi is the man of the match. Because I expected See, most of the problems, the issues that they were fighting were issues created by the center. They were fighting on the migration issue, the immigrant worker, the immigrant workers issue. They were fighting on the joblessness. They were talking about the economy. They were talking about, of course, the flood was something that, was a state issue. But most of the issues were center issues. And the fact that if they get this kind of numbers, if NDA gets 123 numbers, out of which I think BJP is getting 72 out of the 123 of NDA, I think kudos to Narendra Modi. Absolutely. He hit a 6. There is no debate about it.
Well, then let me add just one supplementary question. Does that mean that BJP has also now got a formula for success, that it will always be Narendra Modi? Then no matter what the anti-incumbency, if you get Narendra Modi into that election, if you get him to do certain number of rallies, then the election will be yours.
Well, I don't know. I will not say all that. I will say in Bihar, if you asked me a very pointed question, I gave you a very pointed answer. You asked me who is the man of the match in Bihar. I said Narendra Modi and Narendra Modi. Period. He is the man of the match in Bihar. I don't know whether that is going to be true in West Bengal. I don't know whether that's going to. But Aarti, tell me, who else other than Narendra Modi in BJP who can get that kind of votes? Okay, possibly to a certain extent Amit Shah. But finally, the person who draws vote, who can actually get votes is Narendra Modi. So yeah, I mean, I still say that your point could be valid. One doesn't want to say that now. It is too early in the day. But yeah,
Well, thank you. Thank you
Aarti.
so much for joining us, sir. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Well, as we said, there are still 17 seats with less than 1,000 vote differences. And what happens on these 17 seats? Will that change the fate of the entire election? Will that change the fate of NDA? Will that change the fate of the RJD plus the Grand Alliance? That remains to be seen. But meanwhile, the poster war has already started outside the party headquarters in Patna. Let us just have a look at what exactly the poster war going on outside the Patna headquarters of political parties. There is one poster that you can see on your screen right now, which is pasted outside the party office of the JDU, which says Janta ne fir se chuna 24 karat gold, that the people of Bihar have elected once again 24 karat gold, and there is a big picture of Nitish Kumar along with that. So the JDU is pretty much clear that it wants to assert that people of Bihar have voted in Nitish Kumar once again, and he will be made chief minister. Also, there are some other posters as well that you can see on your screen, but let us also go and see what is happening outside the BJP headquarters as well. BJP headquarters in Delhi, there is a lot of activity going on outside. The stage is being built, and some people are also sitting and chanting Hanuman Chalisa. Now, apparently you chant Hanuman Chalisa generally whenever you are in trouble, but looks like the NDA is out of trouble over here, and the people and the supporters of the party are sitting there and probably celebrating and hoping that this lead that NDA has maintained throughout the day, that remains until the final results come in. Let us just have a look at what exactly is going on outside the BJP headquarters in Delhi. So you saw those were the enthused BJP supporters outside BJP headquarters in Delhi and supporting the party, hoping that these results remain like this. These results are maintained until the end of the counting of the votes. As I said, still 50 lakh votes to be counted. It's a huge number still, and the counting will be stretched till at least 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock today. Since it was pandemic, there were more EVM machines, there were more number of votes to be counted, and the counting of votes was also actually delayed because of a lot of reasons, and this is why it is being stretched. As of now, what we can see is that NDA is leading on 123 seats, RJD plus, that is the Grand Alliance, is leading on 113 seats, and other parties are leading on 7 seats. This is what the situation looks like. Meanwhile, the activity has started in the NDA camp as well, where the BJP leaders, the top 4 BJP leaders of the state, are now meeting at Nitish Kumar's residence, and they are trying to devise a strategy in case if the number that is being shown right now goes down, what to do, who to approach, whether they can approach the AIMIM, whether they can approach the other parties. That is what they have to devise now. That is what for which they have to plan right now. On the other hand, the Congress party as well, there is a wave of upset in the Congress party and the RJD as well, because they had expected a huge win for themselves. Now RJD is now blaming the NDA and the Nitish administration for delaying certain results on certain seats. But On the other hand, if we see, the Congress party has already started planning to shift its MLAs to Rajasthan, and the talks are going on. Meanwhile, JP Nadda, BJP chief, is also going to address the party workers at Delhi BJP headquarters. When that happens, we will get you live all those updates. Till then, stay tuned to HW News. Thank you for watching.
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.